right, ladies, I'm back. Welcome to the Mom is in Control show. If you are new here, I'm Heather Chauvin, the host of the podcast. And Mom is in Control has nothing to do with controlling anybody or anything. It's not about getting our children to be the people that we want them to be or manipulating. It's about feeling in control from the inside out. What does that mean? It's about looking deep within yourself and saying, how do I want to feel? What life do I want to be living? What do I want my career to look like? What do I want my bank account to look like? What do I want my partnerships to look like, my relationships? How do I want to feel at night, knowing how I treated my children and vice versa? I always say parenting is personal growth on steroids, and it actually doesn't matter how much you've prepared to have children or not. The second you give birth or adopt or however children end up in your life, they will rock your world, they will push your buttons, and they will show you where you need to grow. So today is actually a very special episode. In the next few episodes, I'll be doing some interviews with women that have previously worked with me. And the reason why I did these interviews is to show you I just wanted to share their message. I wanted to give them a voice and a platform to get their message out in the world, but to show you that these are everyday women. They don't have to be humongous people with big platforms. I see a lot of, in the podcasting world, we interview other people who already have these big businesses and have gone from like 0 to 60, and the everyday woman who's listening to this podcast is going, well, I can't be Heather Chauvin. I'm like, don't be me. And I'm just a normal everyday person. I still wipe my kid's ass and I still have to, deal with tantrums and all of these things. Like, I'm a normal person. But I really just want to be able to showcase everyday women who are taking action to make a difference and to listen to what their soul is craving. So I'm really excited to share Megan Rempel with you today. She's a registered nurse and she's a mom of 4. She's been following. It's interesting because she was listening to the podcast for about a year and then reached out to me and we started working together. And she also runs a side gig, which is an online business helping women start a fitness routine and get their food in check. And, oh man, it's such a simple concept, and yet we get in our own way, right? I talk openly about my own personal journey with fitness and nutrition. And I am the first one to tell you that it's all in your head, literally everything. All of the I can'ts, you don't understand, Heather, this needs to be hard. Our beliefs and our mindset are the only thing that are holding us back. That's it. And our courage to bust through and take big chances in our lives. So, in my attempt to help you crack open the life that you truly want to be living, I'm going to tell you this. The magic happens in the action. How many times have I said this to you? You can listen to this podcast. You can read those self-help books. You can read those parenting books. And then you wander around going, why can't I figure this out? The disconnect is the implementation. And that is where mentorship is needed. 100% hands down. Before I used to like beat around the bush talking about this because I felt gross that I was like advertising myself. I'm like, but no, it's not about me. This has nothing to do with me. I personally would not be the woman, the mother, the business owner, the partner that I am today without mentorship. I didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, I'm going to do this. And, was self-motivated and took all the action and never asked for feedback. I have so many people in my life now who I ask for feedback and help. If I'm challenged with something, I'm like, hey, what would you do in this situation? If I don't understand something, I go look for somebody who has already solved the problem that I want to learn, and I either like absorb everything that they have, whether it's a podcast or a quick free training. And if I'm really committed to solving that problem, I may even work with that person. And every single time the ROI, and ROI means return on investment, and I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about time, has paid off. I've learned to ask questions. I've learned to say, hey, this isn't working for me. How can I make this work? But guys, in order to kind of get out of this rabbit hole, when you kind of feel hopeless or you're like, oh, I just can't, right? I can't do this. This is so hard. This morning, I was saying to my husband, I haven't put up a podcast in 10 days. I have to get a podcast done today. And then I was looking around like the dishes need to be done. The laundry needs to be done. The kids are getting ready to go back to school. I feel a little overwhelmed. And he said, one bite at a time. So not only was I feeling this immense feeling of kind of resistance and overwhelm, I thought, okay, two options here, right? The old go-to, what my brain is going to do is say, take a break, go lay down, go sit by the pool, go do this. And I'm like, no, Heather, do one uncomfortable thing that's going to get you closer to where you want to be, which is out of overwhelm. And I'm like, I'm going to record the podcast. I'm going to get this podcast done and I'm going to get it up. That's one bite, one action step. And now that I'm doing it, I'm like, I miss you guys, right? So it's all about doing one thing to trick your brain into thinking you're doing the opposite of what it's going to normally do. So you have these mental loops, you have these mental patterns. So whether it's, I don't know, let's just say, example, someone might say to me, I'm not a morning person. And I'm like, it's really important for you to implement a morning routine. You're like, I can't. And Megan and I are going to be talking about that today. I can't, Heather, I can't. What if you just said, I'm open to figuring out how? And even if you're implementing something that's 5 minutes in the morning, like you don't have to start with this whole freaking 2-hour morning routine. But what about 5 minutes? What if you just start with a big glass of water and setting your alarm and doing Mel Robbins' 5-second rule? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get your ass out of bed. Maybe you get an accountability partner and you and your friend physically call each other on the phone at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever your time is, 6:37, I don't know. And you set your alarm, you get up, you have your glass of water, and you call your friend on the phone and you're both like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I can't do this. And while you're on the phone together, you're like, okay, let's meditate together for 5 minutes using the Headspace app or something like that. My point is, change is uncomfortable. And motivation is a lie. Motivation is such a lie, guys. You're going to play mental games with yourself. Oh, I'm not motivated today. I don't feel like doing something. You will never feel like doing something. It's not about pushing yourself and hustling and doing all of these things that you don't like. It's about taking little uncomfortable action to get you to that bigger goal. And even if you don't know what the bigger goal is right now, don't worry about that. But if you know, oh my gosh, not this, I don't want to be here, just start somewhere. So before we dive in, I have 2 things for you. 1, a freebie. So we are now launching and restarting the Time Freedom Challenge. This is a 5-day challenge. So every day you're going to get an email and I'm going to show you how to retain your brain. Retrain. Come on, Heather, wake up. How to retrain your brain to focus on the productive tasks, saving you time and money, how to organize your thoughts when overwhelm takes over, how to regain energy by identifying your energy leaks and learning how to patch them, and the specific actions that you need to take to feel more in alignment, even with the kids and a career to focus on. So this is 100% free. You are going to head on over to momisincontrol.com/time freedom challenge. If you're like, what the heck did you just say, Heather? You can actually just go to my website as well, heatherchauvet.com, and it's on the first page there. But it's momisincontrol.com/time freedom challenge. 5 days, it's free. As soon as you register, you'll get day 1. We also have a private Facebook group where you can ask questions and talk more about this. And there's people in there that will help you answer your questions and start that conversation in a community. You are not alone. You are not alone. So our kids go back in a few weeks to school. And September kind of feels like New Year's for me, like a new year. And so now I feel like I'm in this decluttering phase and transitional phase. So now's a great time to start that time freedom challenge where you're like, okay, refocus, retrain. What is overwhelming me? What do I need to let go of? Where do I need to focus my energy and attention to gain more momentum in the life that I truly crave? Now, as you know, you get what you pay for. I love giving away free content. And guys, I try to give away as much as possible on this podcast and my freebies. But you know, when you put a dollar value on something and you're investing more money, more time, more energy, I'm going to kick your ass. So, number 2, the Mom is in Control Mastery Program. Check out momisincontrol.com and you will see that program. This is my signature program and what I've been doing for the last, few years, 2, 3, 4 years. And we're constantly reevaluating, constantly saying, what do you guys need? And providing that. This is a actual one-on-one coaching program. So you and we're coaching together every other week. And in between that time, you have training, you have community, we even have guest teachers that come in. This focuses not only on you helping feel more in control of your life, no more overwhelm, no more chronic exhaustion, no more yelling at the kids going, stop, I can't do this, da 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 da. So my genius lies in, as you know, if you've been listening to me, my background is in social work and children's behavior and mental health. So it's really helping you understand your children and getting that mindset shift and perspective on, conscious parenting, conscious discipline. So we're not screaming, we're not yelling, but it's really about you feeling in alignment with how you want to feel as a parent, right? Knowing that 10 years down the road, you're like, I did a good job. I'm not failing here. But there's so much more to parenthood and life than just the actual parenting itself. So Mastery is an 8-month intensive program where I'm showing you, we're talking about your time, we're talking about your energy, we're talking about all the other relationships you have in your life, money, all of that stuff. So whatever your pain point is. So if you come in and you're like, Heather, parenting, 100% parenting, then that's what we focus on. If it's money, great. That's your focus. If it's your marriage or partnership, then that's what we focus on. If you're like, I don't know where to start. I'm so overwhelmed and I know there's more. I have this deep sense of like something more and a bigger purpose, but maybe you're getting hung up on the fear of judgment or you just don't know where to start. So check out momisincontrol.com. You will see, it'll say apply now, fill out the application if you feel connected to it. And what will happen is I personally read and respond to your application, and then we'll get you on the phone for an introductory phone call. That's it. So I'll read your application. I'll be like, yep, let's have a chat. And you'll get on the call with myself or somebody on my team to see if it's a good fit based on your goals, your wants, your desires, and where you're headed. So yes, this is an intensive program. It's 8 months long. It's a commitment, but we don't screw around here. This is about you getting the results that you want. not just dipping your toe into the water. It's like, come on, mama, you've been struggling for so long. You've been challenged, right? How much longer are you going to put the relationship with your children on the back burner? How much longer are you going to say, oh, it will get better, it will get better, it will get better? You are worthy of more. Mind you, we are starting in a few weeks in September with the Mastery Program, so get your applications in now. mamasincontrol.com. Okay, let's dive in with Megan. All right, everyone, we're back with another podcast episode. We have Megan Rempel. I said it correctly. Yay! So Megan disclosed to me that it was about a year ago that you actually started listening to the podcast.
Yes. Crazy. Full circle moment.
And here you are on the podcast.
I know.
Isn't it magical what happens when we just go after it?
It is, though. It really is.
So you joined the Mastery Program a little while ago, but that is not why I wanted to talk to you today. I've had this deep desire to, one, showcase amazing women who are just making things happen every day, inspiring women. But I'm always curious, like one of my big whys, I just always want to know why people do what they do and what makes people resilient. Like, how come one person can succeed and go after something and another person gets stuck in a rut and just stays where they are? And I think I know the answer, beliefs and stories and all of that. But something I love about you is your passion for exercise and just taking really good care of your body. And I'm passionate about that as well. I'm not as diligent as you are. But I'm realizing how the body is a vehicle, like a vehicle for movement and energy and expansion and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I was going to say, let's talk about how this all started for you.
Yeah. So my whole journey with like health and fitness this is not who I was several years ago at all. I was like the furthest thing from who I am now. And it really was because I was just feeling so awful, like health wise. Nothing was really wrong, but I felt so run down. And I honestly believed that it was because I was now a mom and I had little kids and I was really sleep deprived. And that's just what I thought being a mom was supposed to feel like. At that time, I had 3 little kids. They were like 3 and under. I then was to get pregnant with my 4th, but I really was just feeling lousy. I say all the time that I felt like a slug because I really did feel like a slug. I kind of got out of bed every morning when my kids were screaming and making demands and needed diapers to be changed or needed to be fed. And that's how I started my day every single morning. And then like the next several hours passed by with me still in my jammies, laying on the couch, kids crawling all over me. I kept like looking at the clock to see, is it even close to noon yet? And I was almost always looking to like put in the day. What could I do today to just put in the day and make the time go by a little bit faster until it was time for these kids to go to bed. And then I could be alone again and eat ice cream and watch reality TV. And that was like sort of what my day-to-day looked like. And I know that now that's not how we're supposed to feel as moms, but really that is what I thought. This is mom life. And this is how moms feel. And this is just what it is basically. And then I just thought this can't be what this is supposed to feel like. And I just decided to make a change. And that started with nutrition for me. And it just started really looking at, okay, what am I actually putting into my body? Because it really wasn't anything good. It was a lot of coffee. It was a lot of grilled cheese crusts. It was a lot of goldfish. And it was a lot of ice cream. So I would usually have like a big, big dinner. and then reward myself with ice cream because I felt like I had survived the day as a mom.
Gold star
Right?
for
I
being the
know.
martyr. Good job.
Yeah, I was exactly who you talk about. I was that person. And I was like, I survived, I did it, and I get to do it again tomorrow. Like, it just wasn't, I didn't feel like I was really living to my potential. Like, it definitely wasn't, but I really didn't know that there was any different way to be living until I started just eating a little bit better. And it was crazy to me how quickly good nutrition could actually change everything for me. And when I started to feel a little bit better because of the foods I was eating, that just led me to want to make even more changes. So I started to look at, I started to look at the books I was reading, and that led me to read, actually one of the first personal development books I read was The Miracle Morning. And I implemented that book right away. And I started a morning routine. And that also just sort of started to change everything. And I started to incorporate a little bit of fitness in the morning. And half the time my kids would join me, which was fine, but I got it done. But I just started implementing small things over time. It wasn't like all of a sudden I changed everything. Like, I mean, I'm talking like this took a couple of years for me to implement all of these things, and I'm still implementing, but I haven't let go of any of those first things that I started. And that has just truly changed totally how I'm showing up as a mom and how I feel.
So, and during this time, your husband was working out of town a lot. So you were like a single parent with 4 kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's breaking a stereotype right there of I'm single. I can't do this. My husband works a lot. I don't have the support that I need. And I get it. Like, parenting is challenging. It's one of the most, I think, it's more challenging sometimes than a marriage or building a business or anything. It's like one of those things that just brings you to your knees. I always say parenting is personal growth on steroids. And for whatever reason, we have it backwards culturally that we have to give. And by doing anything for ourselves, it's selfish. But then you're depleted. And there you are lying on the couch in your pajamas, eating your, leftovers from the kids and whatever goldfish you can find on the ground and like any bottle of water you could like crawl up to. And I remember those days and going, but really, what do? You look around and you're like, well, this is what everybody else is doing. So therefore, this is what I should do, right? I remember the days when I couldn't get off of the couch and people are like, oh, this will pass, not realizing there is another way to be, right? Mm-hmm. So then you kind of have to start blazing your own path. Yeah. What have you found to be the most challenging belief system or story that you've had to change during this process? Like as you're, getting momentum and you're like, wow, food is actually shifting my energy. Wow, exercising every day is actually making a difference. Like never once have I heard you say, I wanted to lose that 20 pounds. And that's what I was after. It sounds like you were really after the energy and feeling good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it never had anything to do with how I looked or what the scale said. Like I don't even own a scale. And so it never was about that. It was just about how I felt. Like I knew that I could feel better. I've always been like proactive and like, take control of what you can control basically. And I always say to people like control the controllable. And I know that I can control how I feel. I cannot control that all of these kids don't sleep. I can't control that they wake up early or that they are like, it's awful for them to go to bed and it takes hours. And I can't control that I'm on my own. I mean, I had every reason to just like not want to become better, but I knew that at the end of the day, the only thing I had control over was how I felt. And I knew that by making some really simple changes, it would just change everything. And it's just crazy how such small things in your life can can really just change how you feel. Because when you start to get that energy, when you start to feel a little bit better, and it just kind of like starts to compound, like every day you'll start to feel even a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And like, not that I wasn't happy before, because even though I was like laying on my couch in my jammies, I was still very content and happy. I wasn't depressed. Like anybody would have thought I was very fulfilled and loving life, because I was, but I actually had no idea that there was more, that I could actually feel and be a lot more. It's almost like when you were talking about thriving. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that I wasn't in a state of thriving until I got there. And that's why every day I am motivated to keep going and to keep, putting good foods into my body and to make sure that I move my body every day, is because I don't want to go back to that like non-thriving part of who I was. Mm-hmm. Like, this just feels too good. And I think that oftentimes people, they just don't start because it's hard. Like, it's so hard to get started. And it's like, it's just so much easier to lay around eating prepackaged snacks. That's so much easier. And then they wait to be motivated. Like, well, I talk to women every day, and they're just waiting for this motivation to kick in. And it drives me crazy, because like, you keep waiting. It's never going to happen. Like, that motivation is never just going to come in and pick you up off the couch and be like, let's go, girl, let's do this. Like, that's not going to happen. You have to just start, and it's going to suck at first, because it's change and it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, and you're not going to see results right away. You won't feel results the first day you do this. But as you keep going, and as you start to feel a little bit different, and as you begin to see some results, that's when you're going to be motivated. That's when the motivation kicks in. So every day I am super motivated, but I wasn't 3 years ago. There was no motivation, but I knew that I could feel better.
Well, now you have enough contrast to know, right? Like, and when you're in the beginning phase of change of anything, all you know is what you don't want. And you're just like, oh, is this going to work? Is this going to work? Like, you feel like you have a blindfold on, and you're just trying to find a light switch in a room. And then all of a sudden you find the light switch, and then you're like, wow, it's so much brighter here. But now I have to find a door. I don't see a crease anywhere, right? And then there's like another challenge that you have to go through. So it's funny, because I'm always like, our relationship is like me pushing you to the next level, and you're just like, I don't know what that level looks like, Heather. And I'm like, just follow me, I'll show you the way. And then you do it. You do the work, you show up, and then you're like, wow, I didn't even know that was possible, right? And I think that's what mentorship is all about. I think that's what, when people are open to receiving, because there is an element of needing to be quote unquote coachable. But I'm going back to this whole motherhood thing. You now work with women, supporting them, starting to implement these workout routines, starting to implement nutrition. And a side effect of that is going to be more energy, more abundance in their life, whatever you want to call it, like possibility to create whatever they want in their life, because we are the vehicle. And when our energy is elevated, we have so much more to give. So you were saying the motivation I literally remember that moment where I'm like waking up, I'm like, okay, yep, today I'm not motivated. Okay, I can't do anything. I'm just going to stay in bed. Okay, yep. Oh, I'm just going to do whatever I need to do, feed the kids. And then that's about it. And then it was like, when I got really, really angry with myself, I'm like, Heather, you need to fucking show up. Like, what are the top, have you ever heard of that book, Eat the Frogs First or something?
Yeah. Eat That Frog,
whatever it was called. My husband, I'm like, I gotta eat some frogs. He's like, what are you talking about? But it's like those one or two, maybe three things that you absolutely have to accomplish that day, get them done in the morning. But if it doesn't happen in the morning, like, you just need to execute on those things. Once I started implementing that type of mindset, like you were saying, the compound effect. So what do you find now? So you have the women that are just getting started on this journey and will like have the ambition to start, but then fall off. And then you have other women who just like take it and run with it and then explode. And they're just so excited and they love telling other people about it. Like, what do you find is the difference between those two types of women and mindsets?
I think that they just want it bad enough. Like, it really does come down to that. And you can say you want it, but there's a difference between like saying it and actually like really, really meaning it. And I mean, there will always be people that I will work with that will say it, but won't actually take action. And then there's others that say it and immediately take action and totally transform their life. And it's that deep down desire to be different and to want more and to know how, not low they were feeling necessarily, but just how like they didn't want to stay there. And when you have that drive and that belief that there is more and there's a better way, I think that just keeps you going, and there won't be any excuses that come into your path. Like, that was me. I was just so driven to just become better and to feel better and to show up better. Like, I hated how I was just so like snappy with my kids, and it all had to do with the food I was eating. Like, when you eat crap, you act like crap. I say it to my kids all the time. Like, why do you think you're having meltdown after meltdown? Because you ate crap today. Like, how do you expect to, be having a great day when your body is full of junk? It doesn't even know how to operate on that. And when you give your body what it needs, it will work the way it's meant to work. Like, we are not meant to be lazy, overweight, bloated, lethargic people. Like, we're meant to be like healthy, vibrant, energetic people. That's what we're here for. And I think that, the women that I work with that just go for it and don't let any excuses hold them back, is they just want it so bad.
So what is your want? Like, tell me, like, I want to know that deep down. Like, what is that desire inside of you to go, okay, yeah, I was content before. Like, I wasn't down this deep, dark rabbit hole, but I wanted more. And every day I just want more. I want to be more. Like, I know it's transformed your relationship with your kids, like just one little step after another. Like, what motivates you to keep going?
I think it's just the way I feel. I am so much more positive now, and I can get around people. And I mean, you talk so much about energy leaks, and I can now distinguish so quickly like where my energy leaks are. And I don't want to be an energy leak for somebody. Like, I don't want to be. And I probably was at one point or another, because I think when you are just not feeling your best self, you tend to just complain and talk about people, and just you're not really that great of a friend. And now I just love how positive I am and how energetic I am, and just open to any new opportunities. And honestly, it comes down to as simple as when I wake up in the morning, I know what I did to my body the day before. When I hop out of bed and I feel like alive and energetic, even though my kids kept me up at night, I feel really good. But if the day before I had eaten some junk or, just ate too much, I feel it right there in the morning. And that is always such a good reminder of like, how do I want to wake up feeling? And also, how do I want to go to bed feeling? Because when you have like put garbage into your body or not moved off the couch for 8 hours, you go to bed and you don't really feel that good. And so it's just those two simple things of like, how do I want to wake up? How do I want to go to bed?
Now I've gotten to the point where the other day, I was kind of doing some running around and I grabbed like a pita. And I don't really ever eat pita, but it was a chicken pita. And so there's oils. I don't do well at all with oils that are made, unless it's like a nice real oil. Oh my gosh, I felt like crap all that day, that night, woke up the next day. I find it so interesting. The cleaner I eat, and I've recently let go of that like perfectionism of trying to, okay, I got to eat this. Now I got to eat this. And now I'm like, no, just the momentum is there. When I implement anything, so if I have a piece of pizza, even popcorn bothers me. But when I implement these things, I can now wake up and go, oh my gosh, no. And I can pinpoint what that one food was that I ate that and how my body reacted. Rather, before it just felt like my whole life was a bag of shit, right? Now it's like, no, I can pinpoint it like, oh, you had 1.5 cups of coffee. Like if I have 1 cup, I'm good. If I have 1.5, I'm screwed. It's so weird. So weird. Or you can tell how much water you drink. Yes. So why do you think food and mood is not a typical conversation? Like this is something a doctor has never discussed with me. Like I was told when I was in recovery, actually when I was going through chemo, I was told to eat more McDonald's for the calories. My friends would bring me green juice and it was like, no, Heather, there could be bacteria on those vegetables and that could kill you. So I was like, well, I'm going to drink this green juice and I'll, take the risk of dying over eating McDonald's. But it blows my mind how nobody talks about food, anxiety, depression, energy, and what you are putting into your body.
That's really funny you say that because, I'm in healthcare as well. I'm a registered nurse, and we have never, nobody has conversations with these patients who have just had a stroke, for instance, and are going to be going home. There's no real conversation about, well, what are you eating? Like, let's talk about how we can prevent something else like this happening. There's none of that conversation. Or let's talk about getting in 30 minutes of physical activity. Like, what will that look like for you? We don't talk about it. To my knowledge, nobody else talks about it. And so we send these patients home who really were here a lot of the times because of unhealthy choices that they've made in their life. And then we send them home to continue making the same unhealthy choices. We've just done a procedure to help, whatever the problem was, and gave them a prescription. But it's just like, it's mind blowing to me now that I've been exposed to this kind of new world of like healthy eating and exercise, but it's not something that people really talk about. You're right. And I think like, even if somebody's drinking like a healthy shake, for instance, they want to talk to their doctor about it because is it really safe? Like, is it safe for kids to drink? And I'm always like, you should really like ask the drive-through person at McDonald's if the Happy Meal is safe for your kids to drink. Like, that's more concerning for me than this like superfood shake, right? Like we just get so hung up on like things that are healthy. We're like, ooh, really?
Isn't that weird how we've been conditioned that way?
But we'll eat fast food, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you were saying about the whole hospital thing, it was actually a dietitian who was telling me this. And I was the worst patient because I'm like combating her. Like, why would you tell me this? Why would you tell me that? And you just it's just calories, Heather. It doesn't matter where the calories come from. You just calories. Like, can I just eat an avocado instead of like a big plate of lard? Like, this is disgusting. I actually want to vomit just thinking about it. It's so weird because this is so normal for me now. I will tell you a belief that I had, which was so fucked up. Before I got sick, I was starting to dabble into like a smoothie a day, doing yoga. And I actually, not only did I feel selfish, but it was like a curiosity. I didn't have a need to do it, right? Because nothing really popped up for me. So I wasn't doing it for health reasons. Why do you think something bad needs to happen, or we need to feel really, really shitty in order to give ourselves permission to implement these things?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because it frustrates me coming from like the healthcare system, because it's like, why didn't you change something before you got to this point? Like, a lot of what happens to us is preventable. Like, so much of what happens to us is preventable, but we have to take action now, like now while we're healthy, now while we have the opportunity to. And it's so simple. Like it really is as simple as like clean foods and moving our bodies. And just like asking ourselves, like, that food I'm putting into my body, like what is its purpose? Like that's really what I try to ask myself a lot of the time. And I'm by no means perfect. Like I'll probably go out for ice cream this weekend with my kids. Like I'm not perfect.
How dare you? How dare you? Right?
But I always ask myself, like, what is this food going to do for my body? That's the point of us eating food, is for fuel and to like sustain us and keep us going. But if you're eating like a prepackaged something, rather, like that's not doing anything for you.
Like a Twinkie or something.
Yeah. Like if that's what you're grabbing because you're hungry, that's not actually doing anything for you. It's going to make you probably binge later on because of like your spiked level of sugar. Like that's what it's going to do. So really ask yourself, like, do I need this and what is it going to do for me?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Oh, it's all energy. That's it. It's like the vibration of the food. And I know I talk a lot about woo-woo vibrations, energies, but I remember when we used to do, kids camps, myself and a colleague, Amy, we were both social workers at the time. And it was like all around self-esteem and all of that funny stuff. And so when I say funny stuff, I don't know why I said funny stuff. We talk about energy and just our thoughts, right? Because that's something that we can't really see. We could see a piece of pizza and a green apple, right? So it's like everyone knows the green apple is better for you, but nobody knows that, the thoughts that we have can actually do just as detriment to our bodies, our physical bodies, as a piece of pizza. Or like, if you're eating chronically crap all the time, that's just like what happens in our brain. So it was so interesting to see these girls having like transformational experiences, learning about energy, learning about high frequency, that when you actually told water bottles, like there's science behind this, show how water molecules change when you are sending love to water or sending hate, right? They have those little experiments that they do with like apples and plants. And you're like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I love you, I love you, I love you. And there's that beautiful, I've seen this meme about we're all just like houseplants, right? Like we are natural. We are nature. We are living, breathing human beings. We need water to survive, just like a plant, right? We need fuel to survive, just like a car, even though a car is not alive. But I just don't understand why we can't get that through our heads, that we are natural. And it's things that are not natural that we are putting into our body are going to affect us in a negative way. Like, why can't we just like get that or question it when we see it out in the world? Like, why did someone get diagnosed with cancer and die? They've been drinking every day since they were 20 years old and they're 80. I wonder why they got colon cancer. I wonder why they got this. I wonder why they're depressed and miserable and their life is falling apart. I'm curious if quality of life has anything to do with your physical health.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. Like find somebody who like wakes up and starts their day with personal development and like meditation and exercise and then eats healthy all day. Like find someone that does that but is miserable. It's hard because they're taking care of themselves. And when you just take care of like your mind and your body, it just, I don't know, you just show up completely different. And that's why I just won't go back to that mom who was on the couch watching TV with kids crawling on her. I can't go back there because it didn't feel near as good as how it feels now.
That's amazing. So what do you say to that mom who's listening and she's like, I just can't get off the couch. I have no idea where to start. I am so overwhelmed. How do I get started?
You just have to pick like one thing that you can take action on. And it can be just simple. And I would even start with like, just get up before your kids. If you can just get up before your kids, I would say that over like changing your eating right away. Because I think if your kids are up early, get up before them, even if it's half an hour or 15 minutes, I think that will just put you into a place where you're going to want to make better choices moving forward. That might make you eat a healthy breakfast. That might make you say, like, let's go outside and run around, because you have had that time to yourself. And I firmly believe like it does start there for us as moms. Like we just need that moment first thing. And if you're anything like how I was, and your day starts with kids in your face, like I love my kids. I love them to death, but I don't want to start every single day with that. I want to start my day with me alone and just to get my head right. And then my choices all become much better as I move forward.
Awesome. And where can people find you, Megan? You're always posting about your fitness journey and you support women with this, and you have, you always have like free challenges coming up and stuff. So where do you hang out online?
Yeah. So on Facebook, you can find me, Megan Rempel. And on Instagram, I'm at Megan Rempel 4.
Awesome. Cool beans. And if they want it, so they can just send you a direct message or something on Facebook or Instagram.
Yep, definitely. Or just follow me, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Awesome. All right, girl. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's all about one step at a time, one little tiny action over and over and over again, and then kind of just watching the compound effect of how your life will change. Hi everyone, I'm Felicity. I just wanted to do a quick testimonial for Heather's mastery program. I've just finished up. I've done 12 months in the program. I just wanted to sort of speak to her modules, the way Heather works, where I was 12 months ago versus where I am now. Now, I found Heather through her podcast and I've fell in love with all different sorts of podcasts since then. It's opened up my eyes to a whole new world of thinking, a way of feeling inside, of parenting, of interacting within like relationships, both inner circle and sort of external as well. I'm in such a different place than what I was 12 months ago. 12 months ago, I was sort of coming out of the end of postnatal depression and anxiety. I didn't know what I wanted. I know I wanted more, but I couldn't articulate it. And Heather's program makes you do the work, as in sort of her modules guide you back to yourself and what you want before you got lost in everything. It will be uncomfortable, and you can either run away from that, which chances are you've done most of your life, or you can run towards it and learn to embrace the fear. Because everything you want is on the other side of fear, which is just it's a mind-blowing concept when you get to it. It really is. The community that you will get in the program is phenomenal. I've met some amazing people who have held me accountable to my actions and supported me through the ups and the downs and the lefts and the rights, which is what life is. Life is a journey. If you're unsure about the money, just you make it happen. If you really want to do this, I would highly recommend doing it. You won't know yourself in 8 months' time. You won't know yourself in 2 months' time, and you'll become a better person, a better mother if you're a mother, better wife, better partner, all of the above. You won't regret it. Heather's very laser focused and very action orientated. And as she says, the magic is in the action. And yeah, micro actions lead to just phenomenal things happening for you. Anyway, I just wanted to say I highly recommend it. Thanks. Bye.